Welcome to this episode of Neptune Talks, where we will look at one of the biggest challenges and opportunities in industry today, transforming manufacturing with low-code technology.
It's a huge topic and so timely. Manufacturers are getting hit from all sides, right? You've got supply chain shocks, crazy energy prices, and a massive labor gap. It feels like there's just no room for inefficiency anymore.
That's the new normal. And yet, if you walk onto the floor of so many modern factories, what do you see? Paper. Clipboards, paper checklists, manual data entry. Despite billions being poured into digital initiatives, the frontline is often left behind.
Yeah, there's this disconnect between the urgency everyone talks about and the tools people actually have day to day. And when you zoom out, the pressure isn't coming from just one direction either.
Exactly. Let's break that down. Supply chain volatility is a big one. For decades, it was all about just in time. Now, a single delay in a port halfway across the world can bring a multi-billion-dollar line to a halt. Companies need agility, but the systems underneath them are often rigid and slow to adapt.
And that lack of buffer is brutal. It turns small disruptions into major operational events. And then suddenly you're firefighting instead of improving.
Absolutely. And it's not just supply chain, it's a perfect storm. Energy costs, workforce shortages, and rising expectations for speed and transparency.
Right. And the cost impact is staggering. I was reading some of the prep for this, and the numbers are just mind-blowing.
They really are. According to McKinsey, a single unplanned outage can cost a manufacturer up to $2 million. $2 million! And a lot of that downtime gets extended because information and execution still rely on slow, manual processes.
Okay, but companies know this, right? They're investing in technology. So why isn't it working? I saw a stat from PwC that said 92% of manufacturing leaders admit their digital investments have failed to deliver the expected ROI. 92%.
Exactly. And the number one reason they cite is integration complexity. They have incredibly powerful but incredibly complex ERP systems like SAP, and bridging that complexity to the realities of the shop floor is where many initiatives break down.
So SAP becomes a bottleneck?
In many cases, yes. Imagine you're a maintenance technician. To close out a single work order, you might have to navigate 20 or 30 different screens in SAP. It's clunky, it's slow, and it's not designed for someone who's on the move.
And I bet there's no Wi-Fi in half the places they need to work. Basements, remote depots, parts of the plant where connectivity just isn't reliable.
Precisely. Limited or no offline capability is a huge issue. So what happens? People fall back to paper, write notes, take photos, track tasks manually, and then hope to enter it later. The data is late, it's prone to errors, and leadership loses real-time visibility.
And then add the workforce gap on top of that. We're trying to attract new, younger talent to manufacturing, and we're handing them tools and processes from 30 years ago. It's not exactly an attractive proposition.
It's a major barrier. So we've established the problem. There's a big gap between complex back-end systems and the practical needs of frontline workers.
Okay, so we've painted a pretty bleak picture. How do you break this cycle? There has to be a way to modernize without, just adding more complexity.
There is, and the solution is not to rip and replace these billion-dollar SAP systems. The new approach is about extending SAP where it matters most, at the point of execution. And that's where Neptune, a low-code app development platforms, come in.
Low code. So for anyone who isn't familiar, what does that mean in this context? Are we talking about another massive multi-year IT project?
That's the beauty of it. No, it's the opposite. Instead of layers of middleware and endless custom coding, you use a platform to build modern, mobile-friendly applications that connect directly to SAP. Think of it like building with digital Lego blocks instead of writing every line of code from scratch.
Okay, I like that analogy. So you can build what you need quickly and it's designed for the end user from the start?
Exactly. The key principles are, first, offline first. These apps are designed to work in basements and remote areas, then sync data back to SAP once a connection is available. Second, they're SAP-native, reusing your existing business logic, security roles, and authorizations. No need to reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm. And that ties into clean core, right? That's a term we hear a lot, especially with people thinking about migrating to S/4HANA.
Yes, and it's probably the most important principle. By building these apps side by side, you avoid polluting your SAP core with tons of custom Z code. Your ERP stays clean, standard, and much easier to upgrade or migrate later. It's really about future-proofing.
Let's pause on that for a second, because clean core can sound a bit abstract. Why is it so important? For years, companies have customized ERP systems. Isn't that just how it's done?
It has been, but those customizations add up over time. They create technical debt, they make upgrades risky, and every migration becomes more expensive and more painful. When we say polluting the core, we mean building so much custom code into SAP that it becomes fragile and hard to change.
Right. So the more you customize the core, the more you lock yourself into complexity. And when the business needs to move fast, that complexity becomes the tax you pay every single time.
Exactly. And that's why real-world examples matter here, because this isn't just theory. Let's talk about Rust-Oleum. You know, the paint and coatings company. They wanted to modernize their warehouse operations.
Paper everywhere, I'm guessing?
You got it. Their warehouse management and plant maintenance processes were almost entirely paper-based. Pick lists, inventory updates, maintenance logs, all on clipboards. It's slow, it's full of human error.
And you have zero real-time visibility. If a component goes missing from stock, you don't know until it's way too late and a production line is already down.
Precisely. So their goal was ambitious. Go 100% paperless. With a traditional development approach, that's a monumental task. Multi-year, multi-million-dollar project territory.
Right. Years, probably. So what happened?
Using the Neptune DXP low-code platform, their existing IT team, and that's a key point, their own team, built and deployed over 40 new mobile apps in just 4 months.
Wow. 40 apps in 4 months? That's incredibly fast. What did those apps actually do?
They digitized workflows end-to-end. Warehouse workers use tablets with a simple tile-based interface. They handle picking, packing, inventory counts, and process updates right from the floor. The app guides them to the next task. No paper, no guesswork.
And the results?
They achieved a 100% paperless warehouse. They doubled their daily gross booking profit in 4 months because of the efficiency gains. And maybe most importantly, adoption was extremely high. Workers actually liked using the system.
That's the key, isn't it? You can build brilliant technology, but if it's complicated or frustrating, people won't use it. Then you're back to workarounds and clipboards.
Exactly. A consumer-grade user experience cuts training time from weeks down to hours, and it makes jobs easier, not harder.
So Rust-Oleum is a great warehouse example. But how does this translate to other areas, like asset management or maintenance?
It scales across the entire manufacturing operation. Think about general maintenance. A technician can use a tablet to log a fault, attach photos, scan a barcode on a part, even use guided workflows, all while offline.
And shift handovers too. Instead of messy handwritten notes, you get a structured digital record of what happened, what's unresolved, and what the next team needs to prioritize.
Exactly. In fact, plant maintenance is one of the most common starting points. A great example is Fonterra, the global dairy cooperative. They needed to mobilize maintenance teams who were losing huge amounts of time on admin, printing work orders, traveling to jobs, then manually entering data into SAP at the end of the day.
Okay, completely different environment, but the same pattern. What were the core issues they were trying to solve?
They wanted technicians spending more time on value-added work and less time on paperwork, and the outcome was significant. They calculated over $3 million in savings in the first 12 weeks. Administrative work dropped dramatically, but the part I love is engagement. Technicians started checking schedules from home because it was easy and actually helped them prepare.
That's not just adoption, that's genuine engagement. And it flips the old IT project model on its head. Instead of a big bang rollout that takes years, you get quick wins that build momentum.
Exactly. Faster ROI, clean SAP core, measurable results. Technicians close work orders up to 30% faster, downtime drops, and total cost of ownership becomes more predictable.
And that brings us to what might be the most critical factor in any digital initiative: user adoption. We've all seen it. Companies spend millions, roll out a new system, and frontline workers hate it. It's clunky, it doesn't fit the workflow, so people find workarounds. They go back to paper. And the investment fails to deliver.
Exactly. And that's why, in many ways, the biggest risk isn't trying a new approach, it's waiting. Waiting for a full S4 HANA migration or sticking with traditional development means falling behind competitors who are already digitizing frontline execution.
Right. Modernization doesn't have to be massive and disruptive. It's about starting small, picking a high friction process, proving value quickly with a low code approach, and then scaling across the enterprise.
Exactly. When tools are designed for real conditions, noisy, cold factory floors, limited connectivity, people use them. And when people use them, the whole system finally delivers what it promised.
Thank you so much for breaking that down for us. It was really insightful.
My pleasure. And thanks to everyone for tuning in to this episode of Neptune Talks.